All right, what's up, guys? This is episode 53, Made Men, episode 53 of the Master One podcast. I actually shot this episode like maybe a month ago, and I was like, I had too much energy. Like, we're gonna need to mellow out, and definitely more mellowed out now. Actually, a little bit sick. Um, it's been a very, very busy couple months. I mean, traveled the world, made a bunch of money, started running tournaments. Met, oh my God, maybe met my wife. Who knows? Who knows? Spesh, are you out there? I guess we'll find out. But I'm gonna get into this kind of in order. Um, so I'm gonna start with WCC 3. I'm not gonna go through all the results since it's been a sec. But the first thing I'm gonna start with is tournament improvements. So the biggest thing I think that can be improved from the last WCC 2 was I remember the under 1400 section. There are so many forfeits and no-shows. Like that can't happen. Like that has to be fixed. Either a penalty or this is actually something I was thinking right before. But the older you get, the more responsibility you get. You just get so disappointed in people. Just like, oh, like I don't want to yell at people, but now like people be doing dumb stuff, and then you have no choice but to, I'm not gonna say yell, but like I have to say something in a different tone, otherwise nothing changes. And that's been a very, very big theme of the last couple months for sure. But yeah, there was a bunch of no shows, so that's got to be fixed. Besides from that, tournament ran amazing. I think marketing always can use a little bit of improvement. So this next tournament, WCC 3, is going to be very, very interesting because this is the first time we're competing with Charlotte. Um, Now, it was kind of possible to shift the date over the next week, but also it's not possible because there's so many things and the calendar is really getting tight. And I was really curious, like, okay, I want to see like how do we do if Charlotte has a tournament the same weekend? I mean, already sign up wise, we're about 14, 15. So, I mean, we'll be about 20 to 30. If we're at 30 by the first payment deadline on the 14th, that'll give me a very good idea of how things are going to go. For sure, I know at least one or two people, but I'm also sure that some people are just going to say, hey, why am I going to drive 3 hours, book a hotel for 2 days for one extra game of chess? Like that's what I'm saying too. Like if there's 4 rounds of chess in one day and it's right here, or there's 5 rounds and it's all the way over there, I don't get the difference. And I would say these tournaments are quality enough where there's not a big drop off. And do people really like going to Charlotte? That's a question that needs to be asked. Um, I was in Charlotte during Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna say this right now. It was so cold. I mean, I don't know what this year is, but the cold this year has been just different. I mean, definitely I've become kind of a wimp and spoiled, and now that I'm traveling to South American countries, like I can't do the cold no more, man. This is too much. I'm also thinking that like from now, oh my God, this game is insane. But from now on, um, during the winter, I'm not gonna be in Georgia. It's too cold to be here, man. I can't do it no more. I'm happy to be here in the summer, in the fall, and then probably after mid to late March. I mean, it's still too much. Probably if this is where I started, this is also another very interesting point about the cold. Um, anyone can do cold for like a week. Like I'm okay. I grew up in New York. I grew up in New York City, not in the state of New York. So I'm used to it being cold, but it's the 1 to 2 to 3 months of this where it's just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. So if I'm hot all the time, if I'm basically living in a different city and I come back even in March and I only have to do cold for a week or two, I think that could be possible. But yeah, the whole like December to February is that's for sure done. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. But a very interesting segue from that point is the tournament schedule. So it's not officially official, but I do believe that there is a location for scholastics in the north and for one days in the north. Um, One thing I'm going to say is there will probably never really be a serious 2 day to 4 day up in the suburbs because if you want a very successful, like, let's just say norm tournament, for example, there needs to be airport access, and just the suburbs are too far away for the airport. So that is why I was really, really, really trying to land this city location, because in terms of like future expansion, as in norm tournaments, or even let's say I'm trying to get Magnus here one day, or Hans Niemann here one day, like there needs to be airport access, unless I'm gonna host them all at James's place, which honestly would be pretty baller having a bunch of guys in a mansion. But he actually already knows Magnus, so I mean we'll see there. But essentially we got a big school in the suburbs and a big school in Buckhead, which is like that's it. That's the best of Atlanta. It's the heart of Atlanta. That's what's it's not official, knock on wood. I still gotta lock it down, but we're working hard, and it seems like we got good news. Um, Now something that's funny is all of a sudden, seems like everyone wants to do tournaments. I'm like, GCA wants to do tournaments. I saw no other person doing tournaments. I'm like, hello, where was all this energy before? I wanted other people to do tournaments. No one did anything, so I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna start doing it, and I'm gonna take over. Like, I don't know about take over, but we're gonna get a full schedule going. The idea is cycle 3 weeks, one tournament every 3 to 4 weeks, one in the city, one in the suburbs, 3 to 4 times a year. We're gonna have a big scholastic, one in the city, one in the suburbs, and that should be it. That should be it as far as tournaments go. I mean, there's gonna be camps over the summer too, so that's gonna be obviously great. But if we can get this tournament cycle going, just I mean, I think Georgia is gonna be in very, very good hands. You can guarantee good tournaments every 3 weeks. Like a lot of my students are just like they don't know what to do or they don't have big tournaments. And I think that those days are pretty much if things are going right, those days are over. I think Georgia is literally on the frontier of blowing up if we can if I can really land this last tournament venue and get this good schedule. Now, one thing that I'm going to say that's going to be very little interesting. Over the summer, there's going to be a drought. Sorry, and I mean, there's going to be a drought because I'm probably not going to be here. This is also probably my last summer to really make a run at GM, to make a run at just trying to be very good at chess. So I'm going balls to the walls in the summer. I'll be back for Scholastic, but basically from June on, it's going to be tournaments. I don't know which countries. I don't know where in the world. I don't know how, but it's going to be happening. I have a tournament planned in May, Chicago, June in Vegas, and then double in Philly, end of June, beginning of July. And I mean, I guess there is a chance that I play no tournaments if I do well enough in those four, and I'm just set. And it's probably a good way to segue real quick. Let me just finish. But yeah, if these tournaments go well, who knows? But I do actually want to play a lot over the summer, and I'm playing pretty good right now. All right, so let me just finish off the tournaments, and I'll get into my actual chess. And I played a tournament about 3 weeks ago in Texas. But so for the tournaments in Georgia, the 29th is going to be the one day in the city. Sorry, in the suburbs. 29th is suburbs. The 3rd is the goal of May, not April 3rd. May 3rd is the goal for the opening of Westminster and the one day in the city. And then the 17th will be the first major scholastic. So that is my schedule. After the 17th, I will probably after the 17th, the next weekend is Chicago, and then the weekend I think I have a weekend in between, and then the weekend after that is Vegas. So somewhere there will be probably some type of vacation that I'm going to try to figure out. But maybe I don't even take vacation. Like this is the summer where it's just like this is not type of vacation. If you do this summer right, if you do the rest of this year right, you can literally vacation the rest of your life if you want. Once again, I would never vacation the rest of life. I would just lose my mind doing nothing. I probably the most I get vacation is a week, depending on who I'm with and what I'm doing. But a week is already a lot. So I'm not gonna say that vacation is really on the cards or anything. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we're doing a lot of things, moving a lot of money. It opens doors. So, anyway, let me talk about my tournament now. So, played it about 3 weeks ago in Texas, and I tried out a new strategy for the first time in my life. I'm very, very happy with the way it went. Okay. So, the idea behind the strategy is I looked over my last 12 tournaments, and I noticed that round two and round eight were my worst rounds. Morning rounds, I never did that well. Um, if you want to go super meta in the data, round two is always the morning after the first night where you get to hang out with you see all your friends for the first time. When you see all your friends for the first time, okay, you're excited, you're gonna like go out a little later, you're gonna be super in a good mood and all that kind of stuff. So round two generally does bad, and round eight of the tournaments is always the last day. It's the most early round. It's super early in the morning. I don't know, just because they want people to leave the state as soon as possible. And it's always a very crucial round. So, and it's always Sunday morning, as if there were not enough factors. Like, if you want to go party Saturday night, like good luck. Tomorrow you have a round at 10 a.m. and you're probably playing Grandmaster. So round eight and round two were the ones to take buys in. And now this tournament specifically, I had to take a round one buy just because I couldn't make the round. I was teaching at a school. They had their last day, they had their trophy day, so I had to be there for that round. So this tournament, I think I ended up taking two buys, round eight, of course, and then another morning later on. And oh my God, like this is how tournaments were meant to be. Like I didn't have to do anything. I mean, okay, I got kind of lucky. Just like I played this guy Bruzone, 2600, one of the best players in the world at some point, top 100 in the world, and like apparently his sister was in town, but like basically he played this line in the English. I knew the line very well. He actually played, I would say, the wrong move in terms of this is not the best way to get advantage. And then he offers a draw. I mean, I was literally about to offer a draw. I could see it on his face. But apparently his sister's in town, so that's why he was taking it easy on me. But I mean, I play confident, I play fast, and then boom, the draw was there. And essentially, out of 7 games, I lost one. I drew up every game, and I won when I need to. I mean, honestly, some of the wins were super super nice. I mean, literally took it to these Indian kids, like just put them on a poster. It was a kind of a revenge thing for what's been happening. So I'll go round by round. Round one, murder. Dude, these openings, and this is okay. This one felt really good because my teacher told me to do one thing, and this is where I finally said no. I don't want to do that. I mean, I tried it. It was bad. Now I'm gonna do this. And and when I did, I went with what my gut. I went with a plan, and the easiest game I mean of my life, I would say. No sweat. And apparently this kid is really good. Like he should have won the game before. There's a bunch of stuff, and like I mean, if you don't know what you're doing against me, like I'm actually pretty good. Like I'll knock you out. So that was round one. Round two, I played a grandmaster in the Sveshnikov. One thing I will say about like these grandmasters, they know what they're doing. Like I'll analyze it with them after the game, and like it's cool now because like I've gotten kind of the level where I'm pretty much friends with all the higher level players, or at least I've earned their respect. Where it's like, and okay, here are some important notes if you're going to earn the respect of higher players or just strong players in general. I mean, never tell them that you think you're better. Never try to be like aggressively trying to show how good you are. Like, if you ever think that they made a mistake or you're questioning it, really come to them with in question form. Like, I'm not gonna be like your move was bad. I'm gonna be like, what did you think about this move? I thought after this, I thought I kind of had advantage, or like you lost momentum. Complete different way to phrase the same thing. But I'm telling you right now, if you tell Grandmaster like, hey man, I think you were just worse. I think you just way worse that game, as opposed to I thought I had a good position or like I thought I was doing pretty well, you're going to get two very, very different responses from most grandmasters. And then if you just kind of joke around, you don't even, you know, if you as long as it's not combative, and then you also like if you heap praise when you can. Basically, I played this guy. I joked about how we looked at his games and I am no against this guy. You played against this, and then I wasn't sure what's going on, and then basically it comes to the point where I sack a pawn, beautiful pawn sack, then I start really slowing down the pace in an aggressive position. And this is something Magnus does really well, according to Dubov. But essentially, I slow down the pace, and now my attack is just legit, and he basically has to repeat, or I'm better. So that was a draw, and another draw in the Sveshnikov. Sveshnikov, like I said, when I one day when I meet my wife, or if I've already met my wife and I finally like get married, or when we're dating, I'm going to ask her if I can call her Svesh. Sveshnikov is my girl. That opening is like it was perfect. I've never lost. From the day I've played this opening, I've only won or drawn good players. I've not even drawn a lower rated player in the Sveshnikov. It is like as perfect as an opening you can ask for. You only win and you win by murder and you don't lose against high rated players. Now one day I'm sure okay, maybe this will come to an end, but I mean, right now it's like, could this get any better? You know, like I am undefeated in an opening in the Sicilian. That's as good as it gets. So Sveshnikov is great. Then I played another Indian kid. And I really took this kid to the shadow realm is the only way to put it. Like he offered me for like four draws. It was Rook in three versus Rook in two. I was worse. I fought back. I definitely fumbled the move order in the opening, but then I mean I just found this idea and there's nothing he could do. And this is honestly why I think it's very important to listen to chess or just listen to things because you never know when what you listen to is going to come into your head. And just like how I said in the last game, Magnus is really good at playing a slow pace in a fast-paced position or just changing the pace when it doesn't seem like it's right, but it is actually right. The same thing Favi said about Magnus is I don't know how he does it, but we get these equal end games. And the whole time I did nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden I'm losing. And I during this game was trying to channel my Magnus. I was like, I'm going to try to do what Favi said. I don't, and then basically I did it. The guy didn't really make any mistakes until he got into just very tough uh positions where he had to make tough calls, and it's just very difficult to do. So took this kid to the Shadow Realm, and then okay, then I draw Brazone. I draw another 2400, and then round six, the only game I lost is I played the King's Indian for the first time, and I mean, it's really sad because like the paths could have gone so different ways. So okay, so this is round six. This is I think Friday night or Saturday night. I think Friday night, Friday night. So I play the King's Indian, and like first off, I fumble a move order, and we should have got the line where we just annihilate the opponent. But I fumble it, and I still get a very interesting position. And then and this is what makes the King's Indian very difficult, is every piece sack looks at least kind of legit. And of the five piece sacks, one of them is legit and wins. Three of them just lose on the spot, and one of them is okay, but you're worse. And basically, I chose the one where I actually had chances to just be kind of better or to have a nice position, and I chose the one where I sacked my queen. I think I'm doing everything. I think I'm killing this guy, and then I just don't have enough. And King's Indian. I mean, the one time I needed to win, or the one time I just shouldn't lose, King's Indian. And then later on, I play the Blitz tournament that day. I have to take a bye round one because it's too late. And so I win every game, and I'm in the last game of the tournament. And probably if I win this, I get some money. I place. Well, life is good. And I'm playing last round against this girl, this 2300. First game, I mean, absolutely destroyed. Like beautiful Rosalimo. Like she has no chance. She like she says I'm sorry after the game. Like that's how bad the game was. Um, but then the second game, I'm playing King's Indian against her, and I'm actually like doing well. And then I just like hang a rook and I don't checkmate. And like I don't know, something about the King's Indian. It's maybe because I'm not a big fan of Indians, maybe not Indian enough. Like these are the things I think about. And it's like it's so silly. I don't understand. But King's Indian, he was not the one. He found ways to really ruin my tournament. But okay, so King's Indian 0 for 2 that day. Um, and man, all you have to do is score half, and I'm already getting a lot more money than I got. But all right, so that's round six. Round seven, I draw a friend who's an international master, and then and even this game, like if he wasn't my friend, I probably would have tried to take him to the shadow room. But it was last round, so I actually ended up looking over my friend Nick Mata, and so me, him, and Gunner, we all have the same score. I don't know how we got here. We all like I didn't even play round one. I think one of them drew round one, like one of them lost round one, and like by the end, 4.5 out of 8. We're all sitting there, stagnated boards. I'm on like board 15, Mata's on board 17, and Gunner's on board 13, something like that. So Mata goes first, and if any of us win, we probably get a bunch of money and a bunch of rating. None of us, I mean, I can ignore him, and I'm already plus like 18, 17 feet at this point. If I win, I have a nice, I go home, I'm plus 28.7, great tournament. If I lose, okay, I plus 14, 13, still not bad, plus 10. But okay, he offers a quick draw, and then I look over, and Mata's already like talking to his opponent, and I'm like, oh, okay, you draw Mata, and he's like, yeah. So then I offer draw, or I accept the draw, and then we both look at Gunner, and we know, okay, it's you, dude. And then 30 minutes later, he takes a draw too. We all gain a decent amount of FIDE. We're all on top of the world. It was honestly one of the greatest tournament just experiences. I didn't win any. I mean, oh my God. Okay, so before I get into the how great life is, let me tell you about the bad beat. The bad beat that breaks my heart. So, um, we all finished with 5 out of 9. We all are doing well. Every board does what we need. The guy who's ahead of us, or who's on with same score, they lose, lose, draw, draw, lose. So it's basically right now it's a four-way tie for first. And then the funniest part is this kid Sahar Santosh, kid from Georgia, good kid, plays a lot of tournaments, plays in a lot of our tournaments. But the last day, both his opponents do not show up, and it's so funny, crazy, sad that I had the power to stop this. And you're like, no, I mean, what could you have done? You didn't know his opponents weren't going to show up. First of all, the first guy, I knew he was not going to show up. He lost to two of my friends in better positions, and he got sick. No one just randomly gets sick. But okay, I understand. Grandmaster lost, bad beats, and then so this Saharsh kid, 2100 FIDE, is playing this 2300 kid Indian kid in the last round, and I'm walking to my board, and like I don't know why, but this kid is like he just like really wants to be friends with me. Like I don't. This happens at chess tournaments with some people. Sometimes they really want to be your friend, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. You want to be my friend? That's cool. So I was talking to this kid a little bit here and there throughout the tournament. Like he beat a GM first round. I was like, yo, how did you do that? Like, because I saw the game and I was like, I thought you were worse. I thought you were. I thought he was about to get knocked out. If I'm being honest. And this kid found a way to win against a very strong GM, Mathematician. Um, and I talked to him here and there, and then basically before round nine, I'm walking to my board, and the kid comes up to me, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play this round. I'm playing some kid. If I played someone up and I won, I could get a norm, but now I can't get a norm, so I'm not gonna play." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. Who cares? Who cares?" And then, who cares, right? Like, okay, whatever. Don't play around. And then I look, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that was the kid. That was the kid. Like, he could have shown up to the board, offered a draw just to harsh." And now we all make a couple extra $100. Like I could have literally told us, I'll pay you $200. Just go there, offer a draw. It's just rating. Who cares? It's just rating. Who cares? And it's just so ironic that the reason I had a great tournament, I loved life, was because I took buys and I didn't, and I just all I wanted to do was get rating. And the reason that I didn't make money this tournament was because someone else cared about rating, and someone else wanted to take buys, but they didn't, and they basically just forfeited. And the irony here is very poetic. It's like like chess will never give you everything, or whatever you love will never give you everything. It'll give you three-fourths. I got rating, I got happiness, and I don't get money. When I get money, I get rating, and I don't get happiness. It's always something like that, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Like somehow Kaisa, the goddess of chess, knows, or like I don't know, but it's just cruel that he came up to me and talked to me. No, no, okay, this is actually where it gets cruel. Because if you think this is the bad beat, let me tell you that this actually happened to me, I think 4 or 5 years ago with Jennifer Yu and Brandon Jacobson. Okay, so I'm playing Andre Gorovitz in the last round, this Grandmaster. I had a good tournament. I think I was 5.5 out of 8. And Jennifer is playing some Grandmaster. Like we're both playing up. We're trying to get the under 2,300 feet A prize. Kind of the sad part is that back here I am 6 years later, still trying to get the under 2,300 prize. It is what it is. I don't want to be here either, but I like money. Money is good. Um, so I end up getting a better position out of the opening. He plays Scandinavian. I hit him with some prep, some sauce. I get a good position. He offers a draw. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take the draw. Jennifer's playing a grandmaster. There's no way she wins. I'm like, she might draw, but probably she loses if we're being realistic. And then I remember I'm on top of the world. I take the draw, and then I go to see, okay, which grandmaster is Jennifer playing? And then I see that she's playing Brandon Jacobson, and instantly I'm like, oh my God. Because the whole time while I'm playing Gorovitz, I mean, it was a quick draw within 30 minutes, I realized that her opponent wasn't there the whole time. And I'm like, all right, it's a Grandmaster, he's just going to be late, whatever. And then I'm like, no, no, I know this is going to happen. I know. And you know. They don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess. But like, yeah, Brandon doesn't show up. Jennifer gets clear first, and I end up getting like $600 or something. But dude, first place is $1,800, and she got $1,800 and she didn't play. So Harsh got $1,800. He didn't play 2 games. So in 4 or 5 years, honest to God, hopefully I'm not still competing for under 2,300. But I'm telling you right now, someone's gonna get 3 forfeits, and that is why they're going to win the under 800 prize by the trend. I mean, one forfeit. and I lose out. Now two forfeits and I lose out. Both tournaments, once again, I gain rating. I'm happy. Life is good. I don't get money. It's just like, how sick is that? What are the chances? Two forfeits in one day. One forfeit 4 years ago. Just play the game, man, or just like split the money or something. Like, anyway. So that's the bad beat of the year, dude. That's oh, and then if we want to go, I mean, honestly, we want to just talk in total. Six, maybe 6 games of chess. We have the Saharsh double buys. We got the Jennifer. I have Indian kid who beat me. I have Sarvesh who beat a GM last round. Within those 4 games, right there, 4 games. If those games go a different way, I'm making $10,000 more. Like at least that's at least like 10,000 more dollars. You know how insane that is? $10,000 on some shenanigans? Like what? This is chess. Chess is already hard enough, and here I am having to fight the powers of God to make some money. It's very unfortunate. And thank God I have other ways to make money, and thank God like I don't need like imagine if this was the difference between me eating and being homeless. And because of these things happening, I cannot eat and I'm homeless. And just how insane is that? Just is already a game with not that much money. And now we got all these forfeits, these buys, and these crazy, just crazy results. So it's just unfortunate, but anyway, that being said, tournament was amazing. I had a great time. I'm gonna do this again. Now, I guess the question kind of becomes like, when do I stop? Like, when do I stop taking bias and just trying to get norms? And honestly, it might be Chicago. I want to take Chicago light, but I'm on this like serial killer vibe right now where I'm like, I'm trying to like really win and just beat everyone and just be good. And like, I'm just tired of. I know I'm good, and if I just try, I think I can do it. I do also want to just chill out, but honestly, there's a very good chance that come May, I'm in full force, 9 rounds, trying to win the whole thing. So we'll see where that goes. I still got plenty of time on that front. Um, okay, so just a couple more things, then I'll get into students and then life. Once again, I didn't want to make this too long. Okay, it's not too bad, only 30 minutes in. All right, so my training and studying. So what I've really been doing is doing a lot of puzzles for sure. I have this book called the Anthology of Chess Puzzles. Basically, it has probably I think it has 2,000 chess puzzles in it, and it's just sacrifices by piece. And what I'm doing is doing about 50 a day, and transcribing them and making them into homework for my students. And I'm gonna get into problem sets in a sec, but basically I'm doing these puzzles and I'm looking at them again and again and again. And now when I play chess, like the knockouts that I see, they come very fast and they're pretty nice too. So that's what I've been. And then on top of that, just openings. My openings, really think have just made the next jump up. The final frontier is QGD. And funny story about learning the Queen's Gambit declined is this kid Ethan, one of the best chess players, the other just best chess player in the state. He's a god at the QGD. He's very, very good. I've seen him beat grandmasters, beat a lot of good players with the QGD. So I basically was like, yo, Ethan, let me pay you, and can you teach me the QGD? And he's like, yeah, of course, dude. And so basically, that's kind of how I got a lot of the beginning of my QGD. And oh my God, dude. QGD or King's Indian, not even close, man. One is like, why am I living like this? And the other one is like, dude, I mean, I can live like this, you know? King's Indian is every day, it's just like a battle. It's like, oh my God, here we go. Is this, am I gonna knock this guy out? It's like, it's basically fighting at heavyweight. Whereas like QGD, I can move. There's no problem. It's easy. There's a lot of upside too. It's like it's really like it's definitely I would say my style. It very reminds me of Sveshnikov too, which even my teacher said. So that's kind of the final frontier, and this is where like this is the reason why I really started disagreeing with my teacher in the beginning, because like there's just sometimes it's just like the best way to say it is like I want to tell him like, dude, I don't want to die. It's like when this guy makes decisions, he doesn't like he of course he wants me to win. He cares about what's best, but he also just cares about for the glory of Rome kind of thing. Like this is what men do. We must play aggressive. We must do this, and it just it was always ironic because he never would play. He'd always be too scared to play. I'm like, man, how can you tell me to be all this super macho superhero stuff, and then you never play? So that's one. And then two is just it's not my style. I don't like being attacked. I hate being attacked, and like every time I would try to take what the his plan was, like it felt like I was getting knocked out. Whereas like I would get in these positions where it's like, oh my God, it's like it's actually there's two great examples of this in the Najdorf where I'm white and I'm being attacked the whole game. And this is where it actually is very sad and where it's like I could just be totally wrong here is like both games I was playing beautiful and then it just came down to one kind of decision where it's like I'm trying to sack a queen. I'm always trying to sack my girl and it never works and then I'm like okay the opening sucks or like I can't do this anymore. So it's like okay whose fault is it? Is it the opening fault or is it my fault? Like and when I think about it, I think it's the opening in terms of pacing. The problem was yes, I can play technical chess for a very long time. I can probably not be that bad at it. Like I can even be GM level to some extent. But why am I living like this? Is the kind of the best way that I would think like that. It's like this is not my pace. And though okay, I can play at this pace for a little bit. If I'm playing at this pace the whole game, it's gonna catch up to me. This is not the pace of what I like. There are certain positions where I can just play fast, smooth, and just know the ideas. And there are certain positions where, I mean, I can find out the right ideas, but it's not natural, it's not intuitive, and it takes a lot of a kind of effort and work. And that's the difference. That's the only difference. Because like at the end of the day, when you're good enough at chess, you can kind of do anything. I can play positional, I can play aggressive, I can do end games. But where am I just naturally? I don't have to think. And I think this is kind of the way with relationships or friends too. There are certain people in your life where it's like I can talk to this guy forever. Like I don't even have to worry about it, or I can talk to this girl forever. Like like there are no gaps in conversation. And there are certain people where it's like I don't know what to say. I can't. I've tried everything. I can't talk to this person, you know? And like I think that's how you kind of know if this is a good fit or not. Um, and I guess if it's not, then you got to start making some decisions. So that's what I've been really doing and thinking and filtering out. So it'll actually the podcast will end with something very similar to this, but that has been my training. I mean, really, it's been really good. I did go out of town for about 10 days last week, um, end of February to Colombia, and honestly, for like 7 days, I didn't know chess, like absolutely zero chess. Honestly, the first time in my life I've done that much little chess. Like I had other things to do. I was having fun. I also had emails to do and all this other stuff too. The work doesn't end, huh? But oh, that's funny. This position is still a draw, so I could sack the bishop. But yeah, I took my vacation at chess and now I'm back. And yeah, when we get to life, we're gonna see kind of the differences, I think. All right, but next I'm gonna go to chess students, and then I will kind of wrap this up. All right, so chess students. Students have been doing good. Students have been doing good, but there's been a really, really bad epidemic of laziness. And it's the funny part about the I don't know funny part about the laziness is it's always the kids with talent that are lazy. It's like almost guaranteed. If the guy's talented, if I know he doesn't try and he does still pretty good, I can almost guarantee he's gonna be lazy. He's not gonna do his work. He's gonna make a fuss. He's gonna say always have something to say. They always have something to say. Always, always, always. There's gotta have some comment. The talented guys can't go without a comment. And I mean, it's always ironic and funny, but it's funny because that's me. It was me when I was a kid. It's me now sometimes. So it's like I get mad at them, and then it's like I'm getting mad at myself essentially. And I don't know. It's just what do you do? What are you gonna do? You know. Um. So well, actually, I had to do this today. I told the kid because he's won a couple of my tournaments too, so I know he's got money. And every week it's like I didn't do this, I had to do this, or blah 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 blah. And I said, all right, go upstairs, get me $10. Next week it's 20, and after that it's never gonna happen again. I'm done. I'm officially done. Today he was kind of like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And then and I'm like, no, you go get $10. He's like, yeah, 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 I'll get it. And I was like, no, you get the $10. I'm not going. And then tell your mom, tell whatever. She knows. She's been paying the price. Every other one of my students, what I've been doing with my students now is I charge $70 per hour and $10 if you practice and you do what you're supposed to, I'll send you back $10. But if not, and if you're gonna be lazy and you're gonna punish me, then pay me. It's kind of the way to think about it. Otherwise, like, what are we doing here? Like you're just wasting my time week after week after week. Every week I gotta tell, and it's always like their mom is like, I can't believe it. He said he was gonna practice. I'm like, lady, it's been 5 weeks in a row. What are we doing? But I don't know. And that's even the other thing, like the super nice, overbearing mother with the son that's talented, that also is lazy. Once again, that unfortunately is me. So it always hurts when I have to see it and be like, I'm getting mad at myself. Um, but I mean, I guess that's what it is, man. And now it's like, I was actually telling this kid, like, I wish I had me as a coach. If I had me as a teacher, I'd probably already be GM by now. So now it's my job as a coach to make sure this guy gets the message or he stops playing chess. Because otherwise, you're gonna waste it, and that's just as bad as it's just as bad as not doing anything and practicing. Might as well just not play in that case, is what I would say. So it's been a tough week, and this is actually something that a lot of my cousins were talking about during the holidays too. It's like, man, now we're at the position where like we have to yell at people. No, we don't really like it. Like I go to bed like, oh my God, like why another day of this, you know? Honestly, it's not that bad if we're being honest. For me, I mean, I'm sure for them it's way worse. They're like project managers and all that kind of stuff. But even for me, it's just like, what are we doing? Like I had another student this week. I had to be like, I mean, look, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And then basically he lied about it and said that he did. And the greatest thing about chess.com and lead chess is you can go into your history and see what did you actually do. And then I was like, bro, don't make me do this, please, don't make me do this. And he's like, no, trust me, I did all the work, I did everything. Don't you worry. And they always have funny stories about how the problem sets don't work. Um, Real quick, I've been making problem sets as homework for all my students. Kind of feel bad giving all the homework, but also if they be doing this, I be watching their games. They be knocking people out. Like I said, I make the puzzles into homework, and it's to the point where I have to do it because I've seen such good results from some of me. Once again, not the guys who work hard love the problem sets and love to the work, and they're all catching up to the guys who are talented but lazy. And it's like it was funny because like I saw the fear and the panic in one of the kids. He was playing and like he still won by literally a miracle. But I saw him like he got to see his own mortality for the first time is the way to put it. And he had to basically come to grips with like maybe like if I don't work hard, I'm actually these other guys are going to catch up. And the worst part is about that is after he saw his mortality, he went ahead and didn't work hard. And then I had to really talk to his dad. And I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see from here. But now it's like, oh my God, I don't want to have to deal with this and all that. So, yeah, problem sets are good. Opening problem sets are also there. Okay, so here's another thing that I've learned with teaching openings. If I don't go over this stuff, if I don't test them on this stuff, they're gonna go play the tournament and they're gonna be like, oh, I don't know the opening. I'm not gonna go play this. And the place I learned this was with myself. My teacher wouldn't go over stuff. I wouldn't actually have experience on what to do. And now I'd be like, I'm not playing this in the tournament. I don't want to get knocked out. Um, so now, like when I have my students learn openings, I'm gonna test them every week. And the way I kind of think about it is like it's almost like science or like religion or faith. If it can't be tested and if it can't be questioned, it's not real. And that's why I have to test these guys' openings. And really, the more you test it, the better they're gonna feel when they actually have to go do it. And some people do this with religion, and they're like, "Oh, you can't ask any questions about my religion. Oh, hey, like I don't even care what you say. Anything you say against me, like, should not count." And I think that's a really bad approach to take when it comes to just a lot of things, but also like just religion and life. Like, if you can't handle any questions or any even criticism, then it's not real. And that's the same thing I guess with relationships too. Like if you're married and y'all can't be through some struggles, you can only honeymoon phase together, that's not a good relationship. The real relationship, the real company, the real couple, the real warrior is the guy who's been through hell, been through absolute hell, and because he's been through hell, he's not afraid. He's like, man, I could take anything because I've already seen everything, and it wasn't that bad. And that's what I'm really trying to instill in my students with all this vigorous testing and this uh, like actually trying to hold them accountable. I never had this as a teacher. I never had this as a coach. And this is really, I think, the difference. And I think this is why certain countries, certain places actually are successful. Like Russia, India. I know these guys ain't messing around. I know these guys aren't letting their students just, F off and do whatever, or just like not have to do the work. I also think they're getting a huge batches of motivated people who have no choice and just are going to work. But they've always got the talent. Now I'm trying to get the discipline to these kids. If I can get this discipline in them, then I mean, like, this is me as a kid. If I had me as a coach and if I had someone to keep me disciplined, I would have made GM easily. I was 2400 in 10th grade or 11th grade. Why am I still 2400? Because I had to learn everything the hard way myself, and at least now I know, I guess is the way to think about it. So that's been the big thing, me, this week, these last couple of weeks with my students. But I have been working honestly like an animal, just making problem set, homework, test, quiz, everything. YouTube video, podcast, tournaments. Like I basically left no stone unturned on what I can possibly do to help these guys and give them a chance to be successful. And I don't plan on making it any less. Like I'm only gonna do more and more and more. So, the last thing that I want to say for chess students is the school chess programs. So first off, with scholastics, this is already going to make things a lot better. But the real big thing that I learned with the chess school program is 99% of problems happen when kids are walking around. It's just a fact. If they're sitting across from someone else and not moving, there's only so much problem that can occur, and it can only occur at that area, and it cannot really spread to more. So, and so it was really lucky how I came up to this, and I'll give you all the big story, the bit backstory. So I work at the school Wesleyan, and this girl on this assistant Anna, she always prints out all my stuff, and like it was like 2 weeks in a row where I was last minute, and I was like, oh my God, it's like 2 hours before. Can you please print it out? And of course, she's super nice, and she's like, yeah, of course, yeah, no problem. Always the nicest people in the world, and like I was just thinking like, oh my God, I've never done anything nice for them, never gotten them like a nice Christmas card or anything. Let me just do it. Like I also I made a bunch of money that week, so I was like, all right, I'm just looking for nice things to do. Let me do it. Boom. So I basically and then but then Anna has two helpers, Kelly and Mildred, and so I'm like, all right, I can't just get one person a Starbucks gift card. So I get all three of them Starbucks gift cards, and they love it, and they're like, oh, this is so cool. Thank you so much. So sweet. Um, and then I have this idea because basically the week before at the school, the kids were losing it. The kids were like, "Oh my God!" Like me and this assistant Jeffrey, and basically I looked at Jeffrey and he looked at me and like, "Well, we can't do this again. We got to do something." So I come up with this idea, and I just tried that class. The class randomly after, I'm super nice, and I'm like, "All right, guys, no one if you're playing a game." If you're doing anything, you cannot get up. You must sit the whole time. If you have a question, you raise your hand or you can ask, that's fine. But do not get up unless you have a good reason. And I mean, there was a point later on in the class, I texted Anna. I was like, "Oh my God, please come in. I can't even like I'm walking around, it's silent. Everyone's like actually playing chess. They're all like really like paying attention. Like there's no issues." I was like, "What?" I was like, "This is how easy it was this whole time. This whole time I could have just done this, is what you're telling me." And there was one guy who resisted this. One kid. And it's always, once again, it's the talented guys who are always the problem. I don't know why. But this kid is the best kid in the class. He consistently will be winning the trophies. And he said, "I'm not about this rule." He said, whatever, I'm just gonna stand. And it happened one, two, three times. First, I have to threaten to take away points. I was like, all right, I'll take away your points. He said, whatever, I already have a lot of points. So then I had to threaten him with the only thing that a kid really cares about, the ability to win a trophy. I said, buddy, if you keep standing out here, you're not getting a trophy this year. And he said, yeah, okay, whatever. And I was like, all right. Okay, I'm giving you a chance. And then he does it again. I'm looking at him, and I remember telling him, Ivan, if you don't go back to your seat and sit down, you will not get a trophy this year. And what do you know? And it's like he kind of knew I meant business, but it's like he had to find out. It's almost that I could see that in his eyes. He had to find out. And I stuck to my guns. I said, "All right, no trophy." And instantly, every other kid in the room was like, "No way. No, he can't get a trophy. I mean, I can get a trophy this year." And then it spread like a virus, and now everyone was super excited. And it's funny is when the talented guys are kind of like, to put it bluntly, they're assholes, they're cocky, they're arrogant. When they fall, nobody cares. And if it's actually almost funny to an extent. When they fall, people are happy that they fell. People are rooting against them actively the whole time because they abuse their power. This doesn't happen if you're a good leader, but this is a very good psychology experiment of what happens when you're an asshole, when you take advantage of your power, you abuse your power. Your time is gonna come, and when your time comes, nobody cares. Only people are happy. No one has sympathy for you. And okay, I mean, I was not trying to like ruin this guy's like whole like being like I was a very and then once again, it's the same reason why I think I can make GM friends. As I'm telling him, look, you can't get a trophy, even the day of the trophy, I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't want to do this. There's no part of me that enjoyed doing this. You brought this upon yourself. And I had to speak to his aunt the last day, and I had to explain to her this is why he didn't get a trophy. Like, I mean, look, I tried, I did this again and again, and at some point I have to stick to what I say. And she complete. I mean, here's the thing: when you do that, when you explain to them, when I actively try to root for the villain, they can like nobody can get mad at you. The aunt's not mad at me. The teacher's not mad at me. Jeffrey's not mad at me. Nobody's mad at me. I tried to do I did the right thing. You tell the truth, you do the right thing, no one can get mad. The truth will set you free. And honestly, that has been such a freeing thing. Even my mom said that. It's like, oh my God, you're telling the truth now? I'm like, yeah, it's just so much easier. Oh my God. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot, but these are the lessons that I've learned. And I think they've been very useful lessons. And hopefully some people listening to this can try to take them away. I don't know why Leech keeps reconnecting. But all right, last but not least, let me just get into the last part of life. In the last podcast, we have to burn that tape or something. I really went deep into the truth of life, and that's a big reason why I was like, I'm not gonna release this one. We're gonna keep it normal. Even here, I rambled a lot, but I don't think I said anything too crazy. Now, Elite Chess is not working for some reason. Let me try to adjust this just for y'all. Uh, okay, but yeah, so just to kind of sum up some cool things in life, Daredevil and Invincible, those are my two shows right now. And it's once again, maybe it's the Gemini in me, maybe it's the protagonist in me. They have all these terms and all these different things you can say. But whenever I watch a show, it just always seems to parallel my life. And it's why I don't watch many shows. Yeah, and it's always when it's a current show, because otherwise you can always just keep watching and you know. But just right now in Daredevil and Invincible, what's happening is both these guys, both superheroes, are just like, man, I'm so done. I'm so done with the BS. It's time. I'm gonna become cold. I'm gonna start like the people I mess with, I will vouch for them. I will defend them. I will do whatever it takes to defend them. But for the guys who are just wasting my time, the TWs, the time wasters, guys who just want to talk but they don't want to listen, the guys who don't even want you to talk, they just want you to listen. Like there are certain people in my life, quote unquote friends, some would even say, that I know you don't care what I think. You don't care what you just call me to just talk. And that's not the kind of person that I like or that I am. If you sincerely want to talk and you actually have something, if you want to talk business, you want to talk promotion, if you're hurt, I understand. But if you're just gonna like go in circles, not listen to anything I say, and just like waste my time, I'm done. There's also certain people where it's just like we don't line up. Like I appreciate the kind of person you are, but if we hang out together, if we get in business together, or if we do things together, it's just this is not a good idea. Because I know the type of person I am, and I know the type of person you are, and it's just like we're gonna be on different sides. You're gonna want to do this. I'm gonna want to do this, and it happens again and again and again. And really, this is, I think, just a bigger problem with men in America. There are just so many wimps out there right now, and I just can't. It's just hard for me to be around wimps in terms of like business. I can be around nice people, nice guys. My favorite people are nice people. when it comes to business or competing or just making jokes or hanging out, like it's just hard to be around those kind of people because I have to curb myself so much. I have to always wonder, is it okay what I said? I have to wonder like, should I be saying that? And it's just like I'm in a sense just done. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I don't have to live like this. There's no rule that says I have to sit and take this, you know? So that's been a big thing on my heart and on my mind, and it's in these shows too. Like Invincible's like, man, like it never stops. It never stops. I think I'm reading this book, and it's like, it's like when you see those people who are balancing like six plates, spinning on on like all their limbs. It's like that's how it feels. I'm like, bro, I'm tired, man, and like I'm tired, and I'm cleaning up your mess. That's the one that hurts the most. I got all this stuff I got to do, and I'm cleaning up someone else's mess. I don't have anyone else to clean up my mess. I don't have anyone else to do my work. And I don't have anyone else to do all the stuff that I need to do. And here I am cleaning up your mess, your mistake that you did. I mean, I can't. I don't have the bandwidth for it, is the only way to put it. So yeah, no more of that. No more wasting time, money, effort. And this is where I'm going to tie it into betting. The betting went really, really good. And then it's been a little bit cold recently. But what I've really learned in terms of betting on sports or betting on different teams is the difference between being good and being bad, making money and losing money, is you got to know who's going to let you down. Like and a lot of times you know who's going to let you down. And then somewhere deep in your heart, you were just like, I remember this time with this team, and I'm not going to let that go. And then again and again and again, insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. And I mean, that's what's been happening. I don't know why this is not letting me watch. This is so weird. It's like it keeps reconnecting. But yeah, again and again, these guys break your heart. And it's like, why do I do this again? And happens with people, this happens with activities, this happens with like knowing yourself. If I'm awake at 3 a.m., there are certain things that I should not do. I should just go to bed. I've done this before. Here I am, and I'm gonna pay the mistake. It's gonna be 6 a.m. Be like, why am I doing this? Like that's betting has really, really taught me that. Because if you don't, you're just gonna end up losing money. You're gonna end up being the same place again and again. And then it's at that point, like you can't get mad at the team. You can't get mad at the person. You can't get mad at the result. It's like you know this result is going to happen. You see this, you know this is gonna happen. Um, Now a couple things that are very cool that I will say about betting that I've learned a lot. Right now, the unders are, I mean, on a wildfire. When two good teams play each other, playoff teams, you really want to break these guys down to playoff and non-playoff teams. But if you have like top 4 or 5 teams play each other, the unders hit on a insane basis. Like, and part of me is just like, they're good teams, like they respect each other. They're gonna play hard. They know, like, if you think about like two grandmasters playing, very rarely does the game end in 30 moves if grandmasters play. It's gonna be a long, hard-fought game where both teams like they know how not to lose, and it's just been happening. Like Boston versus Denver, you would think those. I mean, honestly, F Boston in a sense, but 103, 105, Denver, OKC going under. Now on the flip side, when do teams go over? Like, what are the trends on teams going over? It's when you have two teams that can score the ball, of course, and you need one like shitty team in a sense, and one team that is like they're just kind of bad. And generally they're young too, or they're injured, and they're just gonna get lit up. But they kind of have all these like weapons where they can kind of put up points too, because you pretty much need two teams to tango to get the over, but you kind of need uh, one shitty defense for sure, and two pretty good offenses. Um, and then I think those are the really big takeaways. Team totals, it's you gotta be careful. You gotta pick the ones. You gotta pick the ones, because I mean the Celtics, just like how because of Sahar Santosh and Jennifer Yu on Bad Beats, I have lost $10,000 there. The amount of money I've lost on the Celtics by half a point or 1 point that comes down to the last play where the Celtics just dribble the ball out is literally insane. Like the Celtics have gotten me more mad than probably anything in the last 3 years. So I'm just so done with the Celtics. trust them to win and then trust them to lose when they're supposed to win. And then one of their big stats is on back to back. Like if they come off a loss, they're like 16-0, and if they come off a win, they're like they lose all the time. So I don't know what to say, man. Like F the Celtics, but another kind of sad thing that I'm gonna say about betting on basketball is I took today off just because like it's been a busy week and I was like, let me finish a bunch of work, and like I literally would have gone perfect today. Like of course, it always works that way. The days you take off, you do great, but I guess it is what it is. Um, so yeah, as far as betting and everything, I would say just you gotta discern and you gotta know who's who. But it really has, I think, gotten me better at just reading people and reading situations. Like if I want to just go past over the last month of my life, the amount of situations that if I had just used my brain at all, that I could have either saved money, saved time, or just not have wasted something. So it is what it is, but I think that's why being older is a superpower in a sense. You live and learn, and at some point by the end, like you're a good finished product. So, lastly, I mean, this should be the rebirth of YouTube and streaming. I should be big back in there. I've actually been very productive the last couple of days, and I plan on just continuing that trend for sure. And then these books that I read the book Outwitting the Devil, 1,000%, 1,000%. I would recommend this book. One of the most life-changing books I think I've read in a while. It just really teaches you human psychology and just like the way you think. And honestly, human psychology has become my new like favorite like pastime. Um, sorry, the 5 second rule, very, very interesting um book about basically anytime you have an impulse, anytime you want to do something in a good way, not a bad way, you count down from five and you say what you're gonna do. So like best example, one of my and it's funny because the book opens up. I was trying to find a book about how to wake up early, and I ended up finding this book, and it's funny like the first like 20 pages or whatever they talk about okay she's like oh, I used to snooze forever I am one snooze turned into two snooze and then she got down to the psychology of snoozing and I'm like amen sister this is the book for me. um so the 5 second rule is basically when you wake up you say five four three two one boom get it out. So you have to count down for five and you need physiological movement. Physiological movement is like one of the most underrated and important ways to heal your body and mind that nobody talks about. I've read this countless times here and there. Physical movement is so important, and all these doctors want to do is prescribe you some pills, some medicine, and nobody wants to talk about physical movement. It's just like, what are we doing here? Is the best way to put it. Um, so yeah, I mean, in the last one, Extreme Ownership by Jocko, I just used to listen to a lot of Jocko. I still like a Jocko, so I would try to listen to that book, and it was a good book. I'm not gonna lie, like it's just really like when everything's your fault. Maybe this is what made me like this. When everything's your fault, I'm just like, all right, if it's all my fault, I'm going to stop giving people who are going to make it my fault decisions. Because otherwise, every time I do this, it's my fault. And it's going to always be my fault. So I need to e- basically either pick better people or really train good people. And honestly, it's a little bit of both. But it honestly probably is why I started really training my students a lot, just tougher and just like not tougher as in more strict, but just like having more demands as in the work you put in and the stuff you do. Because I want them to be prepared. Now, as some, I mean, this is why I think playing is very important and having a teacher is very important. Because I've learned so many life lessons of actually by just actually having a teacher. Because I get in the same situation and I'm like, man, so this is how my students feel. Or man, I wish my teacher would do this. I can now, I'm going to do all those things because I know. So, um, yeah, so I mean, that's basically the way to kind of wrap up the podcast. Discernment, all this kind of stuff. But in shortness, I want to say that this is the first couple steps. This is like you're seeing the lion before he becomes the king of the jungle. You're seeing the tiger right before. Um, Made men. I'm like right there to becoming a made man. Grandmasters, they're down to draw. They know, they respect my abilities. Tournaments, I mean, if I can get the North and the South and join them, I mean, come on, North, if you have the North and the South, you control the town. And I think the last thing that I want to say that I think is really, really important, is Anyone who wants to be the leader probably shouldn't be the leader. They dreamed every day like I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to do this. I want this. Generally, you're not a good leader. And my best example of this is Gladiator, Russell Crowe, and Joaquin Phoenix. Well, Russell Crowe, the Emperor says like, dude, you need to be a leader. You need to lead a Rome. And he's like, no, I just want to go back to my wife and kids. Like, that's all I want. I just want to be happy and I want to, chill with my family. Those are the guys who need to be leader. And like, I never planned for any of this. I didn't want all these tournaments. I don't know. But now that I guess that I've seen the inadequacy, the people doing nothing, the nothing being done, and I think I can do it. And honestly, I don't want this forever. I want to play chess. I just want to play chess, and I want to have these systems in place so all my students can play, and so that we're free to just have a good place. I mean, if Charlotte can do it, why can't Atlanta? So yeah, so let's see what we can do in these next couple of weeks. I'm sorry for the delay in podcasts, but there were a lot of things that I had to clear up in my head, and they are clear. I'm ready to go. I'm concise. I know what I want, and let's see how far this can go and what we can accomplish, because I really think anything is possible. You got a made man in charge. And okay, actually, this is the way I want to really end this, is I can't do this alone. It's going to be way harder if I do this alone. If I can have other people who with the same mindset, the same kind of, I would just say pace of I want to get shit done. I am tired of people who will talk about getting stuff done. I'm tired of people saying I want to do this. I think I can do this. Give me people who are ready to work. Give me people who can actually get stuff done, and we will change the world. That is 100%. I believe that with all my heart. And right now, there's like nobody that I can really tell or point on my finger who wants to get stuff done, who's like serious about getting stuff done. Maybe not nobody, but just very little. And hopefully, as things get more and more, I can find other people, and also I can discern who the time wasters are, because I'm very tired of them. So that's it for today, guys. Expect a lot in the future. I'll see you later. Peace.